Built for builders, from beginners to pros, this is where great backyards begin. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, your source for backyard building tips, product breakdowns, and pro advice from the front lines of the industry. Here are your hosts, Shane Chapman and Wade Laurent.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Wade and Shane coming at you with a very unstructured episode here.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
We're winging it.
We're winging it kind of on this one.
I love it.
Right. No,
Planning is everything.
You know what? When I do public speaking, having too much structure and
oh yeah, it's no good.
That's what makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I don't memorize well.
Nope.
But as long as it's something I know what I'm talking about, I can wing it for days. Like, no
Have
problem.
you ever watched certain comedians that work jokes, but they work them a few different times, and they're like, because they don't have the joke. They don't have it written.
Memorize, yeah. They can read the room and
they're like,
give
the
different
story
cadence
is
to it.
this,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I have to get you this story.
Yeah.
And the way I deliver it is different each time. But I've just seen it because I've watched a couple of live, like if you watch Bill Burr, he's got some jokes that are just like, they're just the same. Jim Jeffries, he's got the same, like he's got a gun control one. It's just like, and you know that he's told that joke hundreds of times in thousands of crowds or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you just see it, and it's different each time. It's just slightly different. I love that.
Yeah.
So,
well, here you go. We've probably done this episode a million times before too, and now it's gonna be a little bit different because we're just winging it.
Same, but the premise is the same.
So what we want to do is just kind of review the composite brands that are out there that you're hearing about these days. The industry changes somewhat fast. There's like new entrants here and there that kind of make a bit of a splash, and some that kind of fade away, and some that have been here in mainstays since the start of this whole industry. Yeah. So today we thought we'd just talk about some of the big brands or some of the more well-known brands in the composite deck world.
Yep.
And just kind of give like a high level what you're getting with those guys. We're not going to dive into the weeds here. We're not going to be like talk about every single one of their lines and what makes them different from the next and the price points and the warranties. That we'll save that for another day. But just kind of like generally, if you see this brand sitting on a shelf, here's what to know about it.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think is important is it's not like this isn't an endorsement for any brand. It's not like we're not big raving fans of all. Some people like driving Chevy trucks. Some people like driving Dodge trucks. Some people like driving Fords. But at the end of the day, they're pretty similar. They got an engine. They kind of pull stuff, put things in the box. And so how you like that polished and how you want that to look and the features, well, that gets into the details. But like the actual board itself, they're all kind of similar-ish,
Yeah.
So
yeah, the entire industry, there are minor differences from one to the next in how they do things. But to your point, it's like it's just a different way of skinning the cat, as they say.
Yep.
So you've got different types of fillers used in the different brands. You've got PVC decking versus composite decking versus capped composite versus wood plastic composite versus mineral based composites versus bamboo based. Like there's all sorts of ways to get to it. But the end result for all of these is that you're getting yourself like kind of a maintenance free or low maintenance decking option. That's what they all have in common.
Yeah. And they all kind of move a bit.
Yeah.
Some move more than others, but they do move.
So we'll kind of go through some of the top ones, and we'll just mention some of the other players that might be out there. But Trex obviously is the one big brand that has been around since the start, and everybody, if you know of any brand, it's this one.
That's the one
They're for sure the biggest marketing company of the bunch. They're everywhere, and so you know a lot about them. They are a manufacturer of wood plastic composites. They haven't really changed their formula for years, at least since they started capping it. It's still tried and true, old school way of just mixing recycled plastic and wood fibers and then capping it in a durable shell. And
it's good. It works well.
Yep. They, like everybody else, have a entry level all the way up to premium boards now. They did, I guess, launch something 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
The signature line that is a little bit different than what they've traditionally put out. So it's kind of like it's an acrylic capped, it's not like a photo print, but it's very realistic. It's almost like a photo print kind of.
Yeah.
So it's made a little bit differently than their other ones, which is just like an HDPE cap in the rest of their lines. This one is an acrylic cap over top of like a printed surface.
Yeah.
So it looks a little bit different. It's kind of a cool look, but same core. So the board itself is structurally the same.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you look at their availability is going to be incredibly good. You'll find it just about anywhere.
The other thing that I think is really important to mention is that when we talk about these brands, what everyone should remember is that every brand has a good, better, best. It's not like Trex is better than Fiberon, right? Because I think that if you look at the entry level lines of those two boards, I would actually think that I like the Fiberon entry level.
Wrong.
Right. I know, but I like it better for a few reasons. But I think the Trex's higher end board is better than Fiberon's higher end board.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not like we have people that come in and they're like, well, I want a good board. I want a good Trex board. And it's like, okay, what are you doing with it? And what is your budget? And blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, they describe everything they want. And I'm like, oh, well, you're actually going to use Everlast Infinity. That's the one that's going to work the best for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I thought Trex was the best. And I was like, not the way you described it.
Yeah.
You came in here looking for a F350 to pull 14,000 pounds down the highway. I'm not going to sell you a Toyota Camry. That's not the right car for you.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly it's pretty rare it's all mostly opinion based, but it's pretty rare for one brand to be like the best in class in each price tier.
Yeah.
To your point. Often we're like, oh, this brand is better at this price point. This brand is a better mid board. This one, I think right in today's world right now, I might be closer to crowning one brand specifically in all categories than others, maybe closer than I've ever been. But it's just like if you gave somebody 100 popsicle sticks and said, build a house out of this, you gave 10 people that and they all built it. It's like they'd all build some form of a house.
Yep.
There wouldn't be one that would be necessarily better than the others. Everyone could back up the way they did it.
Yes.
Their science behind their thinking process, why they did it this way.
Yeah.
This one might be better because, well, this one you built with a bigger door. And the person who's going to live in the house, they're bigger.
They need a bigger door.
They bought a big fridge. They need a bigger door to go in.
Yep.
This one, oh, look at this guy decided to add a garage with his popsicle sticks. So that one's better for somebody who has a car. Like,
yeah,
it can circumstantially be better for somebody depending on what it is. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's Trex. TimberTech is the number 2 brand, I would say, as far as like if you've heard of one before.
Market share.
So TimberTech is also a manufacturer of wood plastic composite. Their formula is clearly better if you ask them.
Well, and they're also like, isn't that company TimberTech AZEK?
Yeah, well, they bought
AZEK by TimberTech.
Yeah, they merged like years ago, and so AZEK was a PVC decking manufacturer.
Yes,
and now they're one company, and I think they was recently bought by James Hardy. And so they're under a big, most of these brands are big conglomerates now. Trex might be the final, like, one that's just like not been bought out by anybody and it's still just like not part of like a giant building materials finance company or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, TimberTech, has a ton of lines, half of them being wood plastic composite, half of them being PVC. The AZEK lines are the PVC lines.
Yeah.
Many people swear up and down that they prefer TimberTech. Other people prefer Trex.
Yep.
The AZEK lines have some minor differences from what you'd see in the wood plastic composite lines from both TimberTech and Trex, because PVC just has different nature about it than wood plastic composites do. They generally cool off a little bit quicker. They're lighter to work with. They screw down a little bit easier, but they expand and contract more. So they're just like minor
typically
things
better
to know.
traction.
Typically, yeah. So, and these aren't brand attributes. They're the makeup of the board.
Yeah, that's
attribute.
product, right?
Yeah. But if those things sound attractive to you, Trex doesn't make PVC decking.
Right.
So you don't have that option through them.
Right.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Fiberon was a family-owned company up until what? I don't know, 5-6 years ago?
Ooh, I would have said less than that.
Less than that?
I would have said 3, but
I kind of felt like it was pre-COVID. But anyways, they were bought by Fortune Brands years ago, which they are now a conglomerate of companies that owns like, I don't even remember, like Moen Taps and like, I don't even remember what all the companies
3M.
are. Yeah, I don't know. It's a like massive company.
Fortune Brands big.
Not much has changed as far as their product lineup, but they're another one that does make both a wood plastic composite and PVC boards. So they've got a couple PVC lines in the Paramount and Promenade lines, and then the rest of them are wood plastic composites. You mentioned earlier that their entry-level board is a really nice offering, usually very consistent, good performer for the price point.
Very durable.
Pretty durable. The high-end board, that Promenade line, very durable for a PVC board. Sometimes PVC scratch a little bit easier. Very durable.
Yep.
Great traction on it. So they've got a good offering as well. They're not going to be as easy to find. as the Trexes and TimberTechs. Nobody after the edge is going to be as easy to find as Trex and TimberTech. Those are the two big dogs.
Yep.
But Fiberon does have a pretty solid lineup as well. And so if you have it in your market, it's worth considering for sure.
Yeah.
Again, depends what price point line you're looking at.
But one of the reasons I like Fiberon is much like TimberTech, they have like an entry level wood plastic composite that moves all the way up to like a high end wood plastic composite and then move again to a PVC product.
Yeah.
And both of those companies do that. And I think that's really good.
Next up, we're giving a shout out to MoistureShield. So MoistureShield, again, a company that got swallowed by a bigger company, now part of the Oldcastle family.
Yeah.
A little bit different there though, because the whole Oldcastle family of companies is kind of like in the backyard. Most of the companies are related, like Belgard hardscapes and like concrete, bag concrete, and pool surrounds and stuff like that. Like it's all kind of related at least. Railings through RDI and what's the other one I'm forgetting right now? Barrette and
I was going to say they have like pergolas and like privacy screens and
so lots of backyard leisure building materials. But MoistureShield is a manufacturer of now both again. So for the longest time was just a wood plastic composite manufacturer, but added a PVC line a couple years ago. So you got both options from them as well. Not one that you're going to find everywhere either. Distribution will be a little bit tighter on it. But a good performer has always had lifetime kind of structural warranty on their wood plastic composites because they just have a different process that encapsulates the wood fiber a little bit more than others. So it's a little bit more resistant to being in wet environments. That's kind of been its thing for a long time.
And they've done a really good job of getting, like, especially in our market, they've done a great job of getting to the spec writers.
Yeah.
And putting their product in spec, right? And it has to do with like the longevity and the performance that they've had around moisture control.
Yeah.
I
would say
it doesn't wear out.
Arguably a dominant brand in the pre-capped composite days.
Absolutely.
Their Vantage line years ago. And I don't know if that was everywhere or if it was more here. I feel like it was probably stronger here than everywhere. I think I've actually heard Saskatchewan was a super strong market for them. Yeah. But there wasn't many, like before all the manufacturers started capping, that Vantage line was one of the big ones, big dogs.
And then they're like the BlackBerry, it's like not totally like that. But when they tried to go into the cap composite world, they struggled. And if they're
100%,
they struggled. And there's no way that anyone in that office can tell me they didn't, because they ran a line for a couple of years and then dismantle that whole thing and start again and dismantle that whole thing. And it's like, good for them for realizing that it wasn't working and they're continuing to try and improve. But that's got to be tough.
With the same resistance that BlackBerry had to getting rid of the keyboard, MoistureShield had that with adding a cap to their product.
Yeah.
They tried for the longest time to be like, you don't need a cap. Our products don't fail. We don't need a cap. And it's like, even if structurally you're correct that you don't need it structurally, it solves the fade and stain problem that your product still has.
That people are asking
by not
for.
Capping.
Just listen to your customers.
Yeah.
They're asking for the keyboard to be removed.
Right.
So then take it off.
Right. And then by the time they did it, they were late to the game and they came up with a couple of lines that weren't great.
Yeah.
With the cap products. And then it was kind of like, you sat there and shat on the cap products for how long? And then
now you've done
it. And then didn't do it well. So it kind of looks looks bad. But anyways, that's well in the past.
That's a tough one.
Their current cap lines are really good.
Really good now. Yeah. They got it working.
And they were the first ones, or one of the first anyways, to come up with a heat mitigation technology in the cap of the boards, which addressed one of the issues. Also another issue that people talk about with composite decking a lot, we're used to.
Yeah.
So innovative company for sure. Wolf, we'll slide them in here. So Wolf Decking is a lesser known. This is much more regional. You're going to find it in the Northeast US. You're going to find it a bit in Canada. Might be starting to spread out in other markets as well. A little tougher to find. You're not going to find it at box stores. It'll be like at specialty lumberyards and whatnot. But they are a manufacturer of both again, but they're much more well known for their PVC line, that Serenity line.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is dual-sided, which we really like the dual-sided nature of the Wolf board. You can flip the board over and it looks the same on the back, so it's great for privacy screens. It's great for workability. If you have a scratch on one side during install, you can flip it.
You can heat it up with a heat gun. So that's one of the advantages of PVC that I prefer over a wood plastic composite, is that if you have a scratch in a PVC board, there is a course of action to try and sort of fix that a little bit. It's never the same. It's never as good as the day it was made. But you can certainly hide some scratches.
Pretty damn close. Minor scratches will go, yeah.
You can hide some minor scratches in any PVC product that you cannot do with wood plastic composite. So
I've seen it work a bit with wood plastic composites, but not to the same the same effect.
Yeah.
You do still usually see the scratch a little bit. You can lessen it a bit on composites, but with PVCs you can make it damn near disappear.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some cool things about it for sure.
Absolutely.
I'll give a shout out to Wolf too. In the products that we've carried before, and we've had, of all the ones we've talked about so far, we either are or have been stocking dealers of them at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that Wolf was consistently had their quality control under control more than anybody. We never, rarely had coloring issues. Consistency as far as widths and dimensions were always super stable. Rarely had issues for it.
Do you want to talk about the manufacturing of that? Do you want to because it's not Wolf that manufactures their board.
Right. Yeah.
And so good on them for finding a really good manufacturer.
Yeah.
You might be in a market where you come across Interplast, and that's that'll be the board you'll hear. Same.
Yeah.
Manufacturer. So it's good.
Yeah.
They're consistent.
Next up, we'll talk about, let's move these guys up, Decorators. So Decorators is a brand that's been in the industry for decades, but used to be more known on the accessory side of the business. And now, in the last 10 years or so, they've gotten into the deck board game and the railing game and just lots of the game.
Yeah.
In all parts of the game.
That's right.
Now.
Yeah.
But as far as their deck boards go, they kind of came out a few years back and quietly entered the market. And then when they launched the Voyage line,
I feel like they flipped it on its head. I feel like their their Voyage line is changed the game.
Yeah.
In decking. And it really hadn't changed since Fiberon capped composite board.
Right.
It was everybody was doing the same thing, and then Fiberon capped it, and then it was then it really changed. And then now everybody was doing kind of the same thing again.
Yeah.
Until Decorators was how about we mix it with drywall? And it's oh, wow. Yeah, that works really good actually.
Yep.
Right? So
that product for sure, I know that we were, call it 7 years ago.
mm-hmm.
The distributor for Decorators had visited us because we had bought other stuff from them, other brands of decking even, and they came to us year over year and we're hey, you guys should have a look at this, We're we're full, we don't need more of this stuff. And then when they brought the Voyage line, it was oh man, this is really hard to say no to because it's actually bringing some benefits that don't exist yet.
Right, because what they had been flogging before was a wood plastic composite.
Right.
It's the same as everybody else's.
Yeah. Now this thing was doesn't expand and contract like the other ones do. It's oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's and it's got really good traction. Oh, that's really nice because a lot of these other ones are fairly slippery at this time.
Yeah.
We're talking 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So those things were oh, that's really good. Oh, and by the way, it's also got this accent board that matches all the boards perfectly. So you can go, oh, that's really cool too. Okay. And all of a sudden it was this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we brought it on, and so they came out with a bang and made a lot of noise for a few years there. And then, I would say at one point it was almost cult-like following, where it was they could do no wrong, and everybody was jumping off the Trex and TimberTech wagon onto the Decorators bandwagon.
Yep.
And there's some loyalists that stayed with the other guys and were come on, you guys, you're just jumping on the shiny new object thing.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a few years later, and I think the loyalists enjoyed watching the fallout of it because the shine came off a little bit and the quality control, and they were growing too fast, and some of the issues started to show up. So they went through some growing pains as well on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it was just too fast, I think, probably, right? So,
and then
because the board the board still performs amazing.
Board's still really good. Yeah. I just saw somebody the other day again, having issues with stuff, and it was just this never used to happen.
Yeah.
It used to be such a rock solid board you never heard issues with, and now you've got people that are detractors of, which is weird.
Yeah.
They went too fast at it.
Yeah.
That said, still a great product. They've added some cool tech into their wood plastic lines as well, the enhanced traction into their what's the other line? I was just trying to think of
Vista
line.
Yeah.
So you've got good traction on that one as well. They've launched a Summit line this year that I wish I could say was amazing.
That was
a terrible launch.
That was a shit show.
Terrible launch
for us, right? I don't know if I have no idea what happened down in the U.S.
Yeah, it's so a great board. It came out at a great price point. It was very exciting. We're this is pack and a punch as far as value goes at this price point. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And they, again, just like too much too soon, couldn't supply the demand. Even though it was a staged launch, it was only in certain markets. It's still like all we ended up doing is like we ended up with a whole bunch of pissed off people.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you want to love it, but it's just like, man, there's been a lot of frustrating stuff.
There's a guy in the store the other.
If you got your hands on the board, it was great.
There's a guy in Saskatoon the other day that was looking at decking, and he brought that in and was like, I want this one. And I was like, you don't want that one.
Yeah.
He was like, what? And it was like, it's really tough because I don't ever think of myself as selling a round product. I typically just sell what people want to talk about and what they think is valuable. But that one was just like, if you're going to build your deck next year, we can talk about it. But I think if you're doing it this year, I think we should just put that away.
Totally.
Unless
I have it on the ground right now,
the
color you want and the quantities you need.
Yeah. They need a year to get it sorted out. And so, and I was like, because you might end up 3 boards short and
then,
who knows when that's going.
They've taken a couple cracks at a budget board Decorators as well over the last few years, like Trailhead, and then that didn't really go anywhere. And then Venture, and like Venture was very easy to love when you see it because it's very nice looking board at that price point.
Yeah.
It looks very, very high end, but same thing, has been a lot of like feedback on consistency issues with it as well. But
absolutely.
So Decorators is one that's like really, really nice products, but there's been some growing pains over the last few years, and that's not to say you're going to experience it all the time. It's just like most people that buy it are completely happy with it.
Yep.
The issue has often been on the distribution side more so than the product. But.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that they'll solve that. I have no doubt that they'll get that fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just takes a little bit.
They're becoming a lot easier to find now too, because they've got deals with Home Depot. So you're finding their products in Home Depot now as well.
Home Hardware in Canada.
Yeah. So it's getting easier to find as well. WearDeck. Next one we'll talk about. WearDeck is much more of a regional product. It was invented or created in Florida and was very, very popular in Florida market, especially in dock applications and whatnot. And it's starting to get distributed a little bit more throughout the U.S. anyways, and a little bit into Canada. Part of that being that it was bought by Owens Corning.
Yeah, it was like they got some dollars behind them.
They've got some distribution networks they can probably.
Jimmy Ware got paid.
Yeah. So they're also the manufacturer of the Owens Corning lumber, or what do they call it? Owens Corning structural lumber, or whatever. The composite framing lumber, which is really cool. But they also make a decking product.
Yeah.
I don't think that they've variegated it yet, but they were talking about it a couple of years ago that they were going to do it. So it's not the most like wow factor board to look at, but as far as performance goes, it's very, very good.
Yeah. Great performance, great strength, right? It's like 2 foot on center, no problem.
Yeah, fiberglass reinforced PVC board, very, very strong, very durable, good with heat, et cetera. Just plainer colors. But if you're fine with that, then
just imagine like I have a dock in Florida. What would I want this board to do? And WearDeck does that.
Yep. Everlast. I guess we kind of skipped over that one a little bit. So Everlast, there's a story behind this one. They're a brand new brand as far as the average consumer is concerned. Everlast is actually a massive company that, to my understanding, has more extrusion lines than in basically any composite decking manufacturer in the world. They're a South African company that manufactures in a few different plants around the world. But until recently, they've primarily kind of like licensed, like they've manufactured for others. So
yes.
you'd buy decking and it might be called whatever, Fancy Deck.
Yeah,
it's manufactured by Everlast.
Yeah,
just sold under a different name, much like Interplast and Wolf.
Yeah, correct.
And they used to be sold in North America under the Fortress label for a few years. They had some products like the I Series and Apex that was sold under the Fortress label in North America, and then that agreement ended, and Everlast moved in 2-3 years ago.
I want to say 3,
and kind of relaunched those products under their own name and made a big push into the North American market, big.
Yeah.
And so immediately gobbled up a bunch of distribution, sales reps everywhere, and grabbed like market really fast. That must have been an expensive proposition.
I would have to think so.
You don't just walk into North America as a brand new entrant with such dominant
and then just
players in the market and just
and take a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They just they didn't bring their own people. They showed up in North America and then they handpicked territory managers, and they're like, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Yeah. Apparently they hired, I don't know what the guy's name is, but like a senior VP that came from Fiberon.
Yeah.
And he then went and was like, oh, I know the team
Here we go.
I'm going to do this with.
Yeah.
And
So
half
he
of
did.
Fiberon became Everlast overnight. It's kind of funny to, like, if you haven't heard of the company before, don't feel bad. We went through the same thing a while back when our Fiberon reps, both of them, like our local rep and his boss, the national rep, phoned us one time in a 3-way call, and we're like, hey, this is interesting, 3-way call. This doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And it was to let us know that they were like leaving Fiberon and going to Everlast. And we're like, what are you? We hung up and we're like, what are they doing?
That's a terrible idea.
Like Fiberon's doing so good. Like they're crushing it. They've got a good thing going, and they're going to where?
Yeah.
Like, this is a terrible call. They're never going to get distribution. Like from a Canada perspective, every distributor across the country has a brand or two already.
Yep.
How are they and then like months later,
Yeah,
we're reading our
good.
words.
That's pretty good. But
Now they're here.
Yeah.
Now we sell their stuff, and they're our number one selling brand now, ironically.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you haven't heard of them yet, coming to a store near you, I'm sure they're making really big inroads with some great products. Really great budget board, a little bit higher price than some of the other budget boards maybe, but a high performer in the Infinity line. And then you've got the Apex Plus, which I think is one of the most realistic looking boards. Great traction, decent with heat.
The real deal.
Fiberglass reinforced again, just like the Wear Deck.
Yep.
But more attractive looks, two-tone looks. And then the Pioneer line with their like photo print finish is like, it's like actual photographs.
Have I shown you a
wood.
picture of the Pioneer that we installed in Saskatoon?
I don't know that I've seen that one. No.
I'll show you.
Yeah. So they've got a really compelling lineup from top to bottom. And I mentioned earlier, is like, there's one brand that's doing pretty good at all. They don't really have a mid-tier is the only thing, right? They've kind of positioned that Infinity between budget and mid-tier. Like it's a little bit more than the budget options that are out there, but less than the mid-tiers. And they're kind of doing really well in that space. So, that's all the ones that we were going to really dive into. There are other brands out there that you'll find selectively here and there, like Duralife, Envision, Armadillo, those kinds of things. Either their distribution, Clubhouse, I'll mention True North, their distribution is like a little bit more regional, or, you know, they're just kind of smaller players, but you might run into them. Oh, that looks really nice. On the wall too? Is that, or
Yeah,
is that
that's
wood?
Yeah, no, that's
So there you go. It's like I didn't know if that was real or not.
Pioneer on the slat wall. Like those are those Pilex louvers. So it's a Pilex slat wall.
Baltic Nero on the picture frame?
Correct. And then wrap the posts in Baltic Nero and the beam in Baltic Nero. So it's
That's nice.
Yeah, it's so good. And then that deck is just like, it's awesome. It's up close.
Yeah, that's sweet. Really nice. So yeah, you might run into some brands you may not have heard of. I always like to tell people, like, if you've run into a brand you've not heard of and you're curious about it, send us a message on Reddit or on Instagram or something, and we'll dig into it. Like, we nerd out on this stuff. I would say all the brands we mentioned here are all really good, in spite of the fact we might have talked about some pain points that some of them are going through right now or have gone through at some point in time. Like, they're still reputable, really good products.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about any junk brands here today. But if you can find junk brands, I guess is where I'm going with that. At a box store, if something seems like really, if you find a Fiberon board at the box store and it's $3 linear foot, and then you find something that's half the price, question it, because nothing should be much cheaper than kind of like Fiberon, Decorators, entry level boards, Trex entry level boards. It should be around there. If it's much less than that, I'd be asking questions.
Yeah, then it's just not as good.
Yeah.
Read the reviews.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't trust anything, just anything. One brand we didn't mention that people might be wondering about is Veranda. And so Veranda is something you're going to run into a lot because that's Home Depot's kind of private label brand.
Yes.
Is it good? It's usually decent, but it contractually moves around as to who's manufacturing it. So the answer can change, because I know that Fiberon has made those boards before. I know that Decorators has made those boards before, or UFP. So who's making them can change from time to time. So, but it's usually as far as like private label boards go, it's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
You're usually giving something up. You're not getting, like, it might look very similar to a Fiberon board, but they will have done something to it to cheapen it, essentially, to make the cost lower.
Narrower.
Sometimes they're narrower, often. Yeah. Sometimes they're fluted or scalloped on the back, whereas the Fiberon version isn't. Sometimes I'm not even saying sometimes. That's almost always the case. The warranties are usually less or don't cover as much, or shorter. The boards are often narrower. So they did come out with what did Decorators come out with? Or, well, I was actually branded a Decorators board, but you could find it in Home Depot. But it was basically Voyage, but less money.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's less money version of Voyage. It's like, yes, but it's only 5 1/4 inches wide, not 5.5.
Yeah.
So you need a couple extra boards. So that's why it's cheaper. It doesn't cover as much square footage.
Yeah.
You didn't get the install warranty like you did in Voyage.
Mhm.
You didn't get, if you're a contractor, you got none of the
Perks
perks and points for it.
Yeah.
There's a few things about it that were just like, that were taken out of it to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
So yes, it was cheaper per linear foot, but you were paying for that in other ways.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, so if you have any questions about these brands or feedback or want to know, just hit us up. I actually think Reddit's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me right now. Instagram too, but I'm in both places answering questions all the time. So if you have questions, hit us up there. Till next week.